Machine Girl. See her living in her blood-soaked world. She's looking for a Yakuza guy, and you know he's going to die.
He's gonna die.
We're talking about Billy Joel's favorite movie, Machine Girl.
I don't want to see an ordinary film. I want to see something extraordinary.
Your sacrifice completes my sanctuary of 1,000 testicles.
Do you ever feel as if your mind had started to erode?
Let's rock indeed. Welcome everybody to 1000 Wives of Weird, a podcast that is a celebration of everything weird, mostly movies. I'm Brad Hefner. With me as always on this second take of this episode is
Billy Martell.
And as I just said, this is our second take. We had a few technical errors on the first go. You don't need to know this, but it's a big part of our lives for the last 5 minutes. Not even that. It was a very small problem.
Yes.
We talked about the streaming platform Tubi a little bit.
Yeah.
And gave our recommendation for that.
Sure.
This week we are talking about the 2008 Japanese action shock gore film, Machine Girl.
Machine Girl. We usually like to give a little bit of a plot synopsis at the top of the episode, talking about like what kind of movie it is, and see if it's something that you'd be interested in before we get into spoilers.
So as I said, it's a shock gore film. There's a lot of blood.
A lot of blood
spraying.
I think that this movie has the most simple plot of potentially any movie we've talked about on this.
It's a basic college girl. I think they say she's in college at one point.
Either college or high school. I don't remember what. She's got a uniform, which makes me think high school.
Yes, but at one point they refer to her friend as a college girl.
Do they? Okay.
Yes. So who knows? It could also be a translation thing. But
essentially, plot is girl needs to get revenge. Arm is gone. Machine gun for arm, and that is plot.
Yes, pretty much.
Specifically Gatling gun, so you get an idea of like exactly what we're going for here.
Exactly.
I've never seen Planet Terror. Have you seen Planet Terror?
I saw Planet Terror in the theaters when it came out.
How does this stack up to Planet Terror in terms of women with missing limbs with machine guns replacing them?
I like this a lot more than Planet Terror, but I have not seen Planet Terror in a long time.
That's all right. I haven't heard many good things about Planet Terror. I got the sense that this is a more fun movie than that.
I think it is. Planet Terror is trying very hard.
Yes.
But I also, now that I've seen more Exploitation and Grindhouse, and also have seen El Mariachi, which is very grindy.
Yes.
I should revisit it to see how it stacks up.
Very true.
But Billy,
yes.
Would you recommend Machine Girl? I
think I absolutely would. I had an interesting time with this movie when I was actually watching it. And it's something that we've talked about off the air a lot, and I think we have actually brought up on the show a couple of times now, which is coming into a movie with the wrong expectations.
Yes.
I don't know how I got the wrong expectations for a movie called Machine Girl.
And I've also shown you the opening scene to this movie before.
Yes, and I really enjoyed the opening scene when I first saw it, and I enjoyed it again when I saw it here. In fact, in my notes, I wrote down the best action opening since John Wick 2.
Yes.
But I think that there were a couple of moments in the beginning of this movie, and the movie is so tongue-in-cheek.
Yes.
That I've been spending a lot of my time recently watching a show called Dimension 20, which is a very absurd comedy series that takes the absurd comedy but also leads it back in a direction of having a more serious and meaningful plot in the end.
Okay.
So I think that maybe the fact that I've been watching that so much, and a couple of things that happened at the beginning, my brain was zeroing in on those things and kept expecting the movie to circle around and have some sort of deep message.
Gotcha.
Or meaning, or even just like a human moment of feeling at some point.
Nope.
And no. So I recommend this movie specifically if you want nothing but schlock, but like good schlock.
Absolutely.
Like good schlock, but like nothing more than that. Like this is great. This is fantastic.
I 100% agree. I was a little surprised when I asked you briefly, like, after you mentioned you had watched it.
Yeah.
I asked you, like, hey, briefly, did you like it? And you were like, yeah, I did. I'm still solidifying my thoughts. And I was like,
What is there to solidify?
I kind of expected, because of the movies that we watch together and how excited we get
Yes.
over spurting blood, especially.
Yes.
I would have thought that you would have loved this right off the bat. I love this immediately. The effects are good. The effects are great.
The effects are actually really good for what it
The
is.
picture quality is fucking terrible.
It's very bad.
It's really bad.
Yes.
But if you just want over-the-top action, a ton of blood, and some other gross stuff,
Yes.
again, a simple plot,
Yeah.
and that's all the movie is, like you said. Like,
Yeah.
and it's fucking great for that.
It is. I think that the problem was that I somehow had that expectation. Every time there was blood splatter and that sort of thing, I was going ape shit over it. Like,
Yeah.
I was so excited.
It does happen.
When it ended, because I'd had those expectations at the beginning, I was like, is that all that's going to happen? And then, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's all that happened, and that's fine.
You
and
wanted
that's
Ted
good.
Lasso to come in and be like, like, I know you want to get revenge for your brother, but that's not going to bring anybody back.
Well, they do have this thing, because I realize that the reason why they have it is just because this is kind of a thing in a lot of Asian movies to contemplate the morality of murder in action movies. They have a couple of scenes with that, and I was like, oh, is that going to go somewhere? And no,
Nope.
it never goes anywhere.
They decide murder's A-okay.
It's just something that Japanese action movies have a lot of the time, is the character being like,
Yeah.
maybe I am a killer. And so they put it in because there's a lot of things that happen in this movie because other movies have them, so they just have that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. And I
Yeah.
actually appreciated that there was not a whole lot of, like, revenge is ultimately hollow, which I'm sure it is. I've never gotten revenge on anybody. But
Right, yeah.
this movie isn't like, this won't bring my brother back. Maybe this is pointless and I'm just causing carnage. It's like, nope, carnage. Hell yeah.
No, as the movie goes on, they become more and more certain that killing a lot of people is exactly what they need to do. And at the end of the movie, it's like, yep, that's exactly what they needed to do.
Yep. All right, now we will get into discussing the movie in depth.
Sure.
If you have decided that you want to watch Machine Girl, please go do so. It's a lot of fun. If you like this sort of movie, it's for free on Tubi right now. This was directed and written by Noboru Iguchi, who also did the film Dead Sushi, which I saw, which is fine. It's not as good or as over the top as this.
Sure.
And also the film Zombie Ass.
He's apparently he got his start, I believe, in the Japanese porn industry.
He's done a lot of adult film movies.
Yes.
Including...
as did the actress who plays Machine Girl.
as most of the actresses in this film.
Makes sense.
Most of them are either swimsuit models or adult actresses.
Gotcha.
Iguchi did a lot of fetish stuff, including enema stuff, which might explain zombie ass. The special effects are by Yoshiro Nishimura. Does a great job, as we already said.
It's fantastic.
And he went on to direct another film in this genre of film, Tokyo Gore Police.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
It's okay.
Okay.
This is probably my favorite over-the-top gore film that I've seen from this period of Japanese cinema.
Sure.
You have Tokyo Gore Police, you have Yakuza Weapon, which is more in line with this.
Yes.
Meatball Machine, which I have not seen yet, and Hell Driver, which I've seen bits of. These are films with a lot of over-the-top special effects, a lot of blood. Surprisingly, and I'll bring this up a little bit later, not a lot of, no nudity or sex, really.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that when I was watching Machine Girl, but now knowing, I didn't know that the director was a porn director when I watched it. Now knowing that and looking back, you're right. There's not a lot of nudity in the movie at all.
No, there's some pervy shit,
Yeah, there's pervy
but
shit.
not a lot of it.
There's like, I think maybe I can count one panty shot in the entire movie, and that's like
Yeah.
crazy considering what anime has given me over the years.
True.
Yeah.
So we begin, as we already mentioned, with one of the greatest action openings ever.
Yes.
A group of young men are tormenting another young man. They're throwing knives at him and an apple on his head.
Playing William Tell.
Playing William Tell.
Yeah.
William Martell.
Exactly. Ancestor of mine.
As they're about to throw all their knives at once, they're stopped by a woman in a schoolgirl uniform. Ami Hyuga. And these boys bullied her brother Yu to death. and she tells him he's waiting for them in hell. They prepare to attack. She chops off the leader's arm with a sickle, and it's just spraying blood. We get our first blood spray.
Oh my god.
She reveals she only has one hand before pulling out a giant minigun she attaches to her stump. Mm-hmm. She opens fire on the group. She hits one of them, stripping his head away line by line. Like a dot matrix printer. But then we get a brilliant... We shift angle.
Yes.
And this very cheesy digital effect becomes this gross practical effect of
so
just
good.
A bloody stump spewing blood.
So much. The blood fountains, there are so many blood fountains in this movie. We get our first blood fountain only 2 minutes into the film when she cuts that arm off with a sickle. And my God, if there was ever an opening that just kind of like sets the tone for what the rest of the movie is going to be, it is this.
Yes.
This is
Is
perfection.
so ridiculous. And so it's like
people say that the fight scene that opens Blade, like the club fight scene in Blade, is absurdly one-sided. This fight scene is absurdly one-sided.
She's literally fighting
children. She's fighting dumb children with a minigun.
And another thing I really love about this movie, it's not like, oh, I'm going to knock them out. No.
Yeah.
They're super fucking dead.
No, this is absolute murder. This is murder all the fucking way.
This is a Nakatsu production. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a few Nakatsu films.
Sure.
They're one of the bigger studios in Japan, like Toho, Toei.
Yeah.
Nakatsu sort of a second stringer, I think. Mm-hmm. They did a lot of Pinku films, Pinky Violence stuff.
Which makes sense that they're making Machine Girl.
Not the classiest production house.
Yeah, clearly.
They're not the Japanese A24. Ami is played by Minase Yashiro. Mm-hmm. She's mostly known for modeling work.
Sure. She does a good job in this movie.
A lot of the ladies do a good job.
They do, yeah.
Porn is different in Japan.
Is it?
It is. It's all like story-based. Modern porn DVDs are like, we're going to have separate scenes with different actresses.
Yeah.
This is more like the classic porn of the 70s.
Oh,
where it's like, we're going to tell a story.
Like full-on story movies, but with unsimulated
usually
sex.
One actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
there's more acting involved there.
I noted that the picture quality is fucking atrocious.
It is.
Some more fighting, some more kills. Everything is bloody as fuck. After the bullies are dead, Ami tries to comfort the bullied, but he runs away.
Well, the kid who was being bullied.
Yes.
There is one a guy who ends up getting killed by just a big pipe getting sent right through his fucking skull. Yep. And I wrote down, the pipe through the head sends me. And I said, thank you, Noboru Iguchi, you're doing the Lord's work.
He is. Here's something I was thinking about a lot during my rewatch. Mm-hmm. I would love if America made movies like this.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think the foreignness of it, the language barrier, helps me accept the irony and the ridiculousness of it more.
Sure.
I think if it were in English, like we were talking about Planet Terror.
Yes.
I think if I saw a movie like this in English, I'd be like, this is trying very hard. Granted, we don't see blood sprays like this in American movies.
No,
I think if I saw that, I'd still be on board.
I think that... I think it depends. I think it partially depends on the attitude you go into the film with. I think that, I think if you had this much blood spray and you were this devoted to... We talk about sometimes they're like movies that are weird and they dedicate themselves to creating that environment of weirdness all the way through. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned that I'd recently seen Napoleon Dynamite for the first time. And the thing that I liked the most about it was that their commitment to this style that they had all the way through. And I think that Machine Girl does a similar thing of everything that happens in the movie outside of the fight sequences. Every time there's a dramatic moment, or every time there is it's almost Twin Peaks aspect of over the top dramaticness. Yes. and
I don't
absurd soap opera-ness that I think would make, like, if I saw Kristen Bell in a movie, like, just being like, "Oh, Johnny, I love you so much. No, Johnny's been beheaded by the mob." Like, pulls his body dramatically into frame. "Johnny's been beheaded by the mob. Well, there's only one thing a girl can do. I gotta chop off my own arm and replace it with a chainsaw." Like, that would be an amazing
I would love
movie.
that too. We should talk to Kristen Bell about
We should
that.
talk to Kristen Bell about doing that.
I'm sure as long as we let Dax Shepard on camera for 2 minutes, she'll be on board.
Dax Shepard is the headless corpse of her boyfriend.
She'd love that. She would love that.
Dax would probably like that too.
We flash back 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. Amy is having fun playing basketball.
Yes.
She's being cheered on by her excitable friend Yoshi.
Her friend in heavy air quotes.
Yes.
Yes.
They're together twice.
They are definitively lovers.
I think Yoshi...
Unrequited lovers.
Yoshi has the Yuri antics for Ami, but I
Yeah.
don't know that Ami returns. Again, it's a very
she does.
sexless...
She does, because Yami says, "If you were a boy, pulls hair over one ear. I guess I would date you." And Ami says back to her, "Is like, maybe I should be dating you, hair over ear." And like it's
okay.
There's some stuff that they need to work out by kissing a lot.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they will not get that chance.
Unfortunately, they don't even get the chance to be roommates.
Ami's brother Yu comes to visit. Fun fact, in the dub, which I have not heard, because why the fuck would I watch the dub?
I unfortunately watched the dub because that was all that was available on Tubi.
Oh, you should have let me know. I would have. You could have done a free trial of Fandor.
I should have done that. I forgot that you told me to do that.
How was the dub?
The dub is surprisingly good.
Really?
I think part of it is so I would never watch the dub of Squid Game, even if it was the only thing I could find.
Yeah.
Because Squid Game is meant to be taken seriously.
Okay.
Machine Girl, it's kind of the same thing as when you watch one of the goofier Godzilla movies with a dub. It doesn't hurt the experience that much because the movie is already silly. So any silliness you get from the dub. But the actors doing the dub were really working it. Like, they
Awesome.
were really into it. And I even got, like, a voice actor that I really enjoy later on in the movie. I'll mention it when he comes up.
Okay. Well, I'll mention right now
But, yeah.
that the voice actor in the dub for you is Michael St. Nicholas, who does the voice of Dean Venture on the Venture Brothers.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, they have some names in this dub cast. But yeah, I said I don't know if this is a dub issue or no. But when Yu shows up and his interactions with his sister, Yu comes across as if he's playing the part much younger than the actor who is playing him clearly is.
Well, that's a common thing in movies everywhere.
Definitely. I think this movie plays it up a little bit more, and looking back on the movie as a whole, I think this was an intentional choice to be, again, just very goofy and soap opera-esque about, like, "Oh, come on, sis! I just need money for a new video game!"
And that's what he begs Ami for.
Yes.
But it's not for a game.
It's not.
It's to pay off a junior high Yakuza.
You lied to his sister, how could he?
He and his friend Takeshi need to pay off bullies, but it's not enough because the head bully, Sho Kimura, the son of a Yakuza, doesn't care about money. He just wants them to suffer. He even burns the money in front of them.
Burns the money in front of him. He says, "I just want people like you to suffer." So, out of the gate, no ambiguity. The bad guys are the baddest of guys. Absolute. No, don't need to worry about feeling bad about them being dead. They deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if they are children.
Even if they are children.
The next morning, Ami has made fried chicken for breakfast, which is apparently a thing that happens in Japan.
I guess so.
That's
I guess
wonderful.
So. That's great. Sure.
There's no rule about what breakfast foods are.
No.
You could have spaghetti for breakfast.
You could.
You could have chicken parmesan for breakfast.
I have often had pie for breakfast.
Have you? What kind of pie?
Whatever pie I can get my hands on. Normally apple or blueberry. Yeah. Not a fan of pumpkin.
What about pecan?
Not a fan of pecan. I don't like anything. I don't like nuts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you just like mounds. You don't like an almond joy.
No, I don't like mounds either.
Okay, well that's all I put in your Halloween bag, so...
You got me a Halloween bag.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you came to my house trick-or-treating...
Oh, that's right. Yes, I forgot. I
Dressed
was really high that night.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were dressed up like Alan Grant. I don't know if you remember that.
Vaguely.
And you said, give me some Dinah Moore candy. And I just kept piling the mounds in your bag. Mounds of mounds, I said.
Mounds of mounds.
And you laughed a lot, which now that you say that you were high makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That sounds like high me.
Do you like fried chicken? Would you like fried chicken for breakfast?
I love fried chicken for breakfast. That sounds great.
You lies to Ami about how he got his bruises.
I fell down.
Ami denounces violence. Their parents killed themselves because they were accused of murder.
And I wrote, whoa. Wait a second.
This is something that is glossed over a lot.
It's so glossed over.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't need this backstory for a character to go, murder is wrong.
Right.
You could just have them be like, no, violence is wrong, murder is wrong.
Sure.
I suppose...
On its own face.
Actually, no, because later people are like, I know you, you're the murderer.
It does
daughter.
get brought back into the plot
but
later.
At the same time...
But it is just as pointless when it's brought back into the plot later as it is
the characters
earlier.
could just be like, I don't fucking know you, go the fuck away.
Exactly. And I think it's more just, again, adding on to that sort of, like, soap opera-esque tone of, it can't just be like, that before they died, our parents said never to resort to violence to solve your problems. It's so much more dramatic and absurd to say,
if they
that our parents, right before they killed themselves, told us never to resort to violence because they were so upset over the murder allegations, and we're never going to explain any of that.
Nope.
Like, who was murdered, why, not gonna get into it.
How do you think they killed themselves?
I think that they took a leaf out of George Romero's original script for Dawn of the Dead, started up a helicopter, and just, like, jumped into the blade.
You're not going to fucking believe this.
What?
That's what I was going to say. I almost wanted to do a bit where I was going to say, let's say it on 3.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to say, jumped into helicopter blades.
Oh, my God.
As a fucking joke, and I figured you would say, like, seppuku or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My original thing, I was going to say, well, clearly they did what she was going to do at the end of the movie and cut her own head off, but I was like, no, that's not silly enough.
Ami promises to protect you. Elsewhere, at the home of Sho, we learn Sho's with his father, and we learn that the family are not only Yakuza, but ninja.
They are ninja Yakuza. They are from an ancient, honorable ninja clan.
The Hattori Hanzo clan.
That have also become Yakuza.
Yes.
And also maybe kind of vampires, based on what happens in this scene.
I think it's just a blood oath thing. I don't think
yeah,
they're
it's just a
vampires
blood
at all.
oath. But
Hanzo...
It's fun to say ninja Yakuza vampires.
It is.
And now I want to make a movie called Ninja Yakuza Vampires.
I would not be surprised if Japan had already made that movie.
Probably this studio.
I hope so. But Hattori Hanzo is a legendary figure in Japanese culture. Mm-hmm. If we were Japanese when they went Hattori Hanzo, we'd probably roll our eyes and be like, of course they're Hanzo.
Right.
Which only adds to the base ridiculousness.
The absurdity, yeah.
Sho's father tells him he must always be prepared, and they have a sword fight.
Yes.
Which Sho comes out on top of. Mm-hmm. Sho's father cuts open his own arm, and in order for them to become closer, they don't just become like blood brothers, even though they're fucking father and son.
Yes.
He cuts open his arm, and just torrents of blood rain down into Sho's mouth.
And the kid just, like, is sitting there with his mouth wide open, just
getting blood bukkake.
Just getting blood bukkake. I was about to say that, and I held back, so I'm glad you went for it.
Yeah. We're just mind melding today. We're just
in sync today.
We should sit on each other's shoulders.
And this is a moment where the dub gets really good, because the voice actor playing the dad in this scene, in the whole movie, goes absolutely hardcore for every line delivery.
That's the way you need to play that character.
And he's pouring the blood into his son's mouth. And he's just like, this is the purest of ninja blood!
Okay. Here's a problem we might have.
Okay.
And this might be why we have different views on Ami and Yoshi,
Sure.
because it sounds like the subs are different from the dubs.
That is a common problem.
It's not,
Yeah.
the subs were not just a transcription of the dub, which happens sometimes.
Yes.
So we might have some different views on some things.
It could be. They also, and again, another part of the dub that I found really funny, as he's doing this, the purest of ninja blood, ah! And then suddenly, like, the door opens, a maid comes in and kneels down, and a tiny little mouse voice comes out of the dub going,
Excuse me, sir, but your breakfast is ready.
That's great. We can also not understate how much Kimura Daddy loves Sho.
Oh,
he
yes.
really loves Sho.
he absolutely, he is Daddy's little sweet boy.
He is Daddy's little sweet boy.
Yeah.
And the maid is eventually killed by Sho's mother.
Yes, for being a bad maid. She is the new maid, according to the dialogue.
New people don't work out well in the Kimura household, as we're going to see later.
Every person who shows up that works at the Kimura household is the new whatever they are.
Yes.
And then we find out, so the implication becomes that, like, every person who comes to work here works a day and ends their day by being either mutilated, murdered, or both.
What a brutal metaphor for capitalism, just like Squid Game.
Exactly, just like Squid Game, which means that conservative pundits are already trying to figure out how to make it about socialism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though the creator,
Like,
outright
explicitly
sold,
said, yeah.
Yu runs into the bullies outside the Kimura place. Mm-hmm. I think it's outside the Kimura place.
I'm pretty sure it is.
He runs into Shigura Motors, car mechanics, which is owned and operated by Takeshi's parents.
Yes.
Takeshi's mother comes in.
Takeshi's mother comes in. The camera gives her, like, a lot of time on her entrance. So it definitely has that attitude of, like, hey, an important character has entered the movie.
Yes.
And she just has, like, a cool vibe. She's got, like,
she's my favorite character. I think she's the best actress in the film.
She is very good.
This is Miki Sugihara, played by Asami Sugiura.
Cool.
Also known just as Asami.
Cool.
I've seen her in a bunch of things, including Dead Sushi.
Okay.
And a favorite director of mine, Sion Sono's film Anti-Porno. Which would be a candidate for the show, but I don't know what the fuck we would say about it. I don't think we understand Japanese society enough to really get it.
Fair enough.
But you need to watch some Sion Sono.
I do. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of his.
I don't think so. He just did a movie this year with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
Which is supposedly not great, but I'm still going to watch it and probably own it because Sion Sono DVDs tend to go out of print quickly.
Oh, okay.
But Asami is another model, adult actress, etc. Miki wants Yu out of her fucking house because of his family's reputation.
Right.
Takeshi runs out with Yu. Ami sees the two running and follows. The pair are caught by bullies and beaten.
As she's running away, Yoshi is very upset because she was planning on studying with Ami later.
And of course, in your mind, that just means
I wrote
hot
she
scissoring.
wants. She wants to study Wink with Ami. Yes, and as Ami's running after her brother, she is assaulted by a completely different group of bad guys.
Yes, just some random creeps. Some random creeps who throw her in a van for rape purposes.
Yes.
And here's one of the few pervy moments.
Yes.
They're going to rip her uniform open. You're going to see some bra. You never see actual nudity.
No, you just see a flash of bra, and then she fights them off mostly off screen. Like, she just
it's mostly on screen.
I mean, she has a fight scene with them on screen, but, like, the actual, like, we cut from them on top of her and be her like, oh no, damsel in distress, to her brother in trouble, and then back to them just flying off of her like the agents in Matrix Reloaded.
She kicks them out. She kicks out of her hold, and any of the hand-to-hand fighting in this movie is not very well done.
Unfortunately, no. Yeah.
Which, not everything can be perfect.
I don't think, well, let's be real. Like, this isn't a movie where they got a lot of martial artists to work on it. They got
absolutely not.
The people that they knew, which were models and adult actresses, and they taught them fight choreography. Mm-hmm. So considering that none of these people probably knew how to fight going into the film.
Very true.
They're doing a pretty good job.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. It's not going to compare to
Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen,
Scott Adkins, even Shinichi Chiba, who I've become appreciative of.
Yeah, I will say, speaking of martial artists in movies, though, it is fitting watching this campy craziness so soon after I just for the first time saw Black Dynamite.
Yes.
So
yes, it's
weirdly fitting.
Appreciate camp and parody and over the top shit,
crazy shit. More. Yeah.
Like you said, it's intercut with more beating of Yu and Takeshi.
Yes.
Sho threatens Ami.
Takeshi is wearing a T-shirt that says "Super Grocery Bargain," which confused the hell out of me. But I'm assuming he's a superhero in his spare time named Super Grocery Bargain.
This will get cut out, but I'm watching Only Murders in the Building with a friend.
Oh yeah.
And
how's that?
It's okay.
All right. It looked okay.
I don't love it as much as everyone else does, but it's fine.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, in Steve Martin's apartment, there's a framed, I guess it's a poster that just says "Hot Nice Vegetables."
That's a Steve Martin thing to have in your house.
Yeah.
It's a very Steve Martin thing to have in your house.
Ami fights off the creeps, kicks their asses because she's hardcore from the start.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Yu and Takeshi fight back a little bit.
Yes, they try.
But end up going over the ledge of a parking garage, I guess.
Yes.
To their deaths.
Yes. I still have my collector's polybagged issue of The Death of Super Grocery Bargain Man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a collector's item. It's going to be worth something someday.
What was your favorite part of Super Grocery Bargain Man? Was it the groceries, the bargain, or the man?
I think I'm probably in the minority on this, but I think the super part actually was probably my favorite part.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even include that in the list because I figured that...
exactly, because so few people remember that part.
I mean, it's just such an obvious choice. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like it's such an obvious choice that nobody likes it, but it's without that, the grocery and the bargain and the man are just they don't sing without that super part.
Yeah, you know what? I thought we were really vibing today. I thought we were really on the same wavelength, but now you're fucking talking like an alien. So, Yu and Takeshi die.
Yes, tragically.
Sometime later, Ami goes to Sugihara Motors, where Takeshi's parents are grieving.
Yes.
Ami knows it wasn't a suicide, as the cops are saying it was, but Miki knows Ami's family and blames her and Yu for Takeshi's death.
She's like, you're from that family of murderers.
You're from that suicide family.
Yes.
Because that murder-suicide family, and by that I don't mean a murder-suicide.
Right.
I mean a murder and suicide.
Yes.
Or as the Japanese would say, murder-to-suicide.
Okay.
To is the Japanese word for and.
Oh, okay.
I've been doing
suicide.
Duolingo.
That's right, you have. How's that going?
It's okay.
Cool. Murder to suicide.
They haven't taught me the Japanese words for murder or suicide yet.
Oh, I can see how those would probably not be the first things Duolingo might want to teach you.
And here's where I noted that Asami is the best actor in the movie, and I love her.
She is good. She is very good.
Ami finds a list of people Yu wanted to kill, his Death Note list. It contains the name of the bullies. She goes... And here's where, again, the opening sets the tone for the movie so well.
Yes.
But here's where it's the movie sort of settled down a little bit. Now it's going to go off the rails again.
Yes.
She goes to the home of Ryota, one of the bullies.
Yes.
And asks questions without much use. Ryota's father says it's ridiculous that Ryota is a bully because they're a family of policemen.
Right, and whoever heard of a police officer being a bully?
Exactly.
Yes. It never happens.
John McClane once made me do a super push-up, or a super sit-up, or a power sit-up, whatever the fuck that is called.
Well, his captain...
Hold on, let me do that again.
Okay.
John McClane once gave me a Hertz donut.
And you said, you can't do that, there are rules for policemen. And he said, that's what my captain keeps telling me.
Yeah, and he said, ho, ho, now I have a machine gun. And he grabbed my dick real hard. And I was like, I appreciate the compliment, but that hurts, and also that's sexual harassment.
Right. And then
actually, that's sexual assault.
And then he said, I'm going to go make Kevin Smith really sad on the set of Cop Out. And that was, and then you're like, that has nothing to do with me. But
Once again, the family history is thrown in her face. Ryota's mom joins in, saying that there must have been something wrong with you if he was getting bullied.
It must have been his fault somehow.
And now, a hard snap change. Ryota's dad attacks Ami with a golf club.
Just suddenly things go from 0 to 60 in less than a second.
Yep.
Like, things go fucking nuts. The voice actor in the dub for the dad, Ryota's dad? Ryota's dad is Dan Green.
Oh, yeah?
Who most people from my generation know as the voice of Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
And he uses the Yami Yugi voice as the dad.
Sweet.
So every time he's threatening people and going like... And it's like, this is your fault, I'm going to destroy you! My brain just keeps going, Mind Crush! Yugi, you have to believe in the heart of the cards!
The actor in the original language track is fantastic. It's very deep and stentorian like that as well.
Oh, you can tell from just his body language.
Oh, yeah.
He's got like this...
He has cop presence.
He's got cop presence. He's got more, it's like samurai presence. He's got full on,
I imagine, maybe I'm being racist, but
Sure.
I imagine that cops are the modern day samurai in Japan.
I
don't fucking know what the police culture is like in Japan.
I don't know. Based on most Japanese movies I've seen, it involves a lot of large crowds of cops running Keystones cop style at whatever bad guy they're trying to chase.
Yeah, I mean...
Just based on Scorpion...
Female
Prisoner Scorpion franchise and Sherlock Hound. That appears to be the way that cops operate in Japan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ryota's mom joins in and attacks her with a knife.
Yes. The dad has like the roar energy, and the mom was like, ah!
Yeah,
like a knife, just like a evil demon.
They're having tempura for breakfast.
Yes.
And Ami's hand gets dipped in the batter. Mom grabs her wrist and plunges it into the frying oil, giggling maniacally, as you mentioned.
And I believe this is the same arm that we saw her lose.
This will be the arm that she eventually loses, yeah.
Loses in the opening. So I thought this was I genuinely thought, and this would have been just the kind of crazy thing this movie would have done, that she was going to have her arm dipped in the thing, they were going to pull it out, strap her to the table, and eat her arm in front of her.
That would have been great.
And I was like, this is not how I was expecting her to lose her arm in this movie.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But...
No.
It does get hella deep fried, though.
It does get hella deep fried.
It's fucking hilarious. Like, it's
so funny. And they clearly... This is one of the only times the special effects really don't work, but it still works.
I thought it was fucking fantastic.
It's hilarious. It just doesn't look like what it's supposed to be.
No. You know what it's supposed to be.
Right, yeah. And that's the point, and that's what makes it work.
I fucking love it. I love it.
It's so good.
She doesn't even have time to adjust to the shock of her arm being tempura battered. Ryota's dad is now dual wielding golf clubs.
Yes.
Ami throws oil on him and runs off.
That's right. This scene is amazing.
The next scene, now we get, again, it just keeps going more and more off the rails, and then it will settle down for a little bit, and then it'll get crazy again. But we're not stopping yet. That night, Ami dramatically wafts a photo of you into Ryota's room.
Yes.
He bends down to pick it up, and when he gets up, she has a sickle to his throat.
Yes.
She says she thought killing was wrong, but she learned from Ryota's parents that there's a time and a place.
Yes.
Which I don't think was the lesson she should have took from that encounter.
I think that's the lesson I would have taken from that encounter. I think the lesson I would have taken from that encounter is, well, two lessons. One, Ryota's home life is clearly fucked up. If this is the stuff that he's getting at home, no wonder he's a psychopath. But two, also, some motherfuckers just gotta die.
True.
Yeah.
It should be pointed out that all the parents in this movie really love their kids.
They do.
They were really fucking, like...
Except for Ami's parents who left them behind.
True. Well, honor is more important than Ami.
I guess so. In an amazing smash cut, she's like, there's a time and a place for killing. She goes to cut Ryota's throat, and smash cut to her mom cutting some real
Ryota's mom.
Ryota's mom. What did I say?
Her mom.
Oh, cuts to Ryota's mom cutting some real juicy meat. Mm-hmm. Just cutting some real juicy meat.
Ami somehow kills the lights long enough to slip Ryota's head into a pot on the dinner table. A very small pot, and the head is submerged below the liquid. There's not enough room in this pot for this head.
Also, the head, very dramatically and accommodatingly, refuses to start bleeding until after the mom has put her head all the way close to it to see what's going on.
Now, in probably the gnarliest and most disgusting kill of the movie, Ami shoves a knife through mom's head, out her mouth, causing her to vomit blood and actual vomit, and also her tongue seems to be coming out, and maybe some intestines.
And her intestines come out. It is...
It's so goddamn gross.
Fucking gross.
When was the last time you were that grossed out? Was it Necronomicon watching all that oozy shit?
I know. I think it has to be. I'm
Violence Voyager?
I'm forgetting the name. It was that episode of Masters of Horror. Imprint. It was definitely Imprint is the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
This was very close to Imprint.
This is
it's like I was not upset. I was in awe. It was because
it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
What was the word you used earlier? Brutiful.
Brutiful.
It was absolutely brutiful. It was gorgeous in its absolute balls to the wall disgustingness.
It's so insane. And again, we're not that far into this movie.
No, not
we're
really.
Not very far.
We're not out of the flashback yet.
Yes.
She doesn't have the machine arm to make her machine girl. She's just girl at this point.
Yes.
There is no machine girl.
Meanwhile, Ryota's dad is having a nice bath.
Yes.
She tosses Ryota's head. She interrupts him.
Yes.
He's calling out for conditioner. He needs Ryota mom to bring him conditioner. And Ami's outside and says, "How about this?" And she has Ryota's headless body.
Yes.
And she squeezes it, just fucking blasting him with blood.
So clearly he had a blood fountain earlier, and now she knows she found the nerve that starts the blood fountain, and she controls the blood fountain and just sprays him like a hose, which is something I have never seen before.
No.
In a movie. So kudos, whatever else this movie does, kudos to this movie.
I mean, there's a lot of shit I haven't seen before in this movie.
True, very true.
But this is one of the best.
This is one of the best, because we specifically love blood fountains in movies much.
We do.
Utilizing the blood fountain in this way is so good.
And also, what I love about blood and violence and action in movies is not just the subject matter. I enjoy some brutality.
Yeah.
But it's the craft.
Yeah.
We
talked about that in Deerskin.
Someone built that fucking dummy body.
Yeah.
And rigged up these blood fountains. It was like, just squeeze it, and this dummy body is going to spray blood all over this man. It's the work, it's the effort, and that's why I don't like digital shit, because it's not necessarily easier. It's still very time intensive.
Absolutely.
It's still an art, it's still a craft, but it doesn't look as good.
It doesn't look as good, and also there is an element to which, with practical effects, the actors are there. They're working with it. So the guy playing Ryota's dad there is actually getting sprayed with the blood. The woman playing Ami is actually holding this body that is hooked up to a hose, and on set someone was she's like, "How about you wash your hair with your son's blood?" And on the back, when she says that, in the back someone's like, "Kick it up," and so and a whole bunch of blood starts going. Yeah, that was their day. That's what they did. When you watch CGI, it's a bunch of people being like, "I guess there's something here. I guess there's something here." Yeah, it doesn't. It's not as fun to watch.
No, but that's what I appreciate about gore and shit like that, is the effort it takes to create the effects.
Exactly.
I'm not just a murder hound where I like seeing people fucked up.
Yeah,
it's the artistry that you don't get in drama.
Sure, yeah. You don't generally get to see that many blood fountains in drama.
Now, I haven't seen The Father yet. Do you think this happens in The Father? Think Olivia Colman sprays Anthony Hopkins with a headless body?
I don't think it happens in The Father. I'm I think it might happen in Minari. I'm not
I still
sure.
haven't watched Minari either.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I
Minari.
own it, but
I haven't seen Minari, but I have a feeling that it might happen in Minari.
so here's my question: after this happens, Ami leaves Ryota's dad.
Yes.
Why does she not kill Ryota's dad?
That is a question that I also had. I think maybe she just wanted to. Maybe she was too enamored with Dan Green's voice as I was. I don't know.
Ami runs away. She proclaims she's become a demon.
Yes.
And she will remain so until she kills all of you's enemies.
Yes. that is one difference in the dub. She proclaims herself not only as a demon but as the devil.
Oh, okay.
I'm the devil. I'm the devil now. Which is pretty great. Pretty great.
The Kimuras are having a meal when the chef spills some food on Sho.
Yes.
Sho's dad loves Sho so much.
So much.
He wants the chef to cut off a finger, a traditional Yakuza punishment.
Yes.
Sho's mom, a former gang lady herself, wants something more.
Yes. And it's funny because we've already seen her killing the maid, but the movie still does this sort of reveal thing of her pretending to be nice and being like, oh, I must apologize for my husband to the chef, and then turning around and hitting her husband and saying, you're too soft!
Yeah, she is the deadliest of the species. The female is the deadliest of the species, as we know.
Absolutely.
Ami shows up at the Kimura compound, demands to know where Sho is from a guard. Meanwhile, the chef has cut off all 5 of his fingers.
Yes.
And he has used them to top sushi, which he is forced to eat.
Yes.
Nails and all.
Only slightly grosser than normal sushi for me.
Really? I like sushi.
I have never actually had it. Just the idea of raw meat wrapped up in a thing is weird to me.
It's good.
It's good?
It's actually good, yeah.
Okay, I'll try it and stop making hack jokes.
I was like, I can get some sushi from Sheets.
That's the other thing. I'm rarely in a situation where I'm in a place where I trust to buy their sushi.
Yeah. Someday, maybe for your birthday, I'll take you out. I'll take you out for a food you don't know if you like.
Sure. Why not? I mean, I like Japanese food in general. I just haven't tried sushi. So if you take me to a Japanese food restaurant, there'll be something I can eat.
Yeah, we'll get like a buffet or something.
Sure, why not?
Ami gets a literal drop on Sho. She's up.
Yes.
She's up on the ceiling.
This is where the only detected panty shot that I found was.
And again, not pervy or erotically
they don't
filmed.
Close up on it. It's there.
Just a function of wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
She has a knife to his throat. Sho Daddy comes in with his goons. Sho Mommy comes in with a gun. The goons throw some super shuriken at Ami.
Yeah, super shuriken.
One of which she catches or pulls out of a wall and shoves into a goon's mouth.
Oh my god, that was so good. Why they're super shuriken, by the way, is because one, they're not just like traditional shuriken that you would see. They are like something out of a Transformers movie.
Yes.
They look like they're cybernetic.
Or it's like something Blade would use.
Or something Blade would use, that too. And like something Blade would use, they do not follow the laws of physics at all. No. And they consistently come back around and try and kill her multiple times before they find a target.
At one point, I was almost like, are these boomerang shuriken? Where it's like, are they coming back?
But it's like a tiny traditional Japanese home hallway.
Yes.
So there's no room for them to turn around. They have to get to the end of the hall, stop, turn, and then come back.
Just as Ami is about to kill Sho, Sho's dad throws a sword through her left arm and pins her to a wall. Ami is taken and beaten.
Yes.
Sho Daddy chops off the fingers on her left arm. Mom and Dad get in an argument about how much torture is too much torture.
Yes.
Sho Daddy is like, we need to take it slow. It needs to be slow. And she's like, kill her now.
Two things about Sho Daddy, by the way.
Yeah.
Who, in my notes, I called Crime Dad. But Sho Daddy is much better. One, all of Sho Daddy's dialogue in this scene before the mom interrupts all sound like Pinhead dialogue. Talking about, like, we have such pain that you will endure. Such torture we will show you. All this stuff. And also, during this scene, I realized he has the haircut of Dilbert's boss.
Does he?
Yes. He's got the bald.
He does. I thought it was more like a devil thing. Like
I think that's what they were going for, but
you always think about Dilbert.
I think about Dilbert a lot.
birding 24/7.
I am birding all the time.
That's why you have so many catbirds around.
Exactly.
But no dogbirds.
No Dogbert.
And no Ralph the dinosaur.
No, because Dogbert was always trying to take over the world. I don't trust
Dogbert was, and Catbert was part of HR because HR is evil and cats are evil.
Right, yes, exactly. Yes, this is the kind of, like, intelligent humor that Dilbert brings.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Yes.
Of the trillions of characters that make up the Dilbert cast,
Yes.
which one would you fuck? And you can't say the lady.
I can't say the lady, the
No.
only lady. So I have to pick one of the men, is what you're saying.
Or the dinosaur, or one of the animals.
Or the dinosaur. Or
You
one
could
of the
fuck
animals.
Ratbert.
Oh, be still my beating heart.
You might
I could
actually-
fuck Ratbert.
No, it's not safe to fuck a lot of animals because their
No, it's not.
vaginas are not
Built for human
or
dicks. Yeah.
vaginas, rectums, cloacas are not built for human dicks, and you'll kill
No.
them.
Yes.
You would probably kill Ratbert if you tried to fuck him.
I probably would.
Would you be okay with that on your conscience?
I don't think so. I don't think I would be okay with that.
That's good. You passed the test.
I passed the test.
Earth is saved.
Yay!
I'm a galactic representative figuring out if Earth is worthy of continuing to live,
Oh my
continuing to
God.
exist or be destroyed. And the one thing that exists on every planet in
Yes.
the universe is Dilbert.
That makes sense. Because all of their creators' tweets are so galaxy brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a Ratbert in every planet's Dilbert.
Yes.
And we find a below average representative of the species.
Fair enough.
And we ask them if they would fuck Ratbert.
Sure.
And we make it clear that Ratbert would die.
Yes.
And if they say yes, they still would, they get Death Starred.
Gotcha.
So you just saved the race.
I'm glad to hear it. Would you mind? I know that this is our entire friendship has been a charade, and this whole show has just been a build up to this question. But would you mind finishing the episode with me?
Sure.
Sure. Let's go for it.
Mom accidentally trips. No, Mom doesn't accidentally trip. Mom trips Dad.
Yes.
And he accidentally cuts off Ami's arm.
Ami's
and
whole
that's how
arm.
she fucking loses it.
That's how
I
she
thought it
loses
was
it.
going to be the tempura batter as well, even on my second watch because I didn't remember it.
Yeah.
But this is the dumbest way for her to lose her fucking arm, and I love it.
It's so bad. It's so great.
inconsequential.
It's so inconsequential, but the way that they shoot it in the most dramatic way that anything in the movie is shot, where the sword goes through the arm and the camera is looking up and the blood spray comes out and covers the camera lens in the most, like, gorgeous, like, old Hollywood style blood spray
Yes.
you could imagine. It's
Also, the torture dungeon
amazing.
they're in is a great bit of set. It's not used a lot. It's very cheaply done, but it still
Yes.
looks great because there's this patina of dried blood all over the walls. It's very pink on the walls. Like it's
Yes.
clear that clear that in this world, blood just acts like this all the time. And clearly
Oh, yeah.
they torture a lot of people because they're
Yeah.
super evil.
Right.
And so, and you don't have, who's going to clean it? Who's
Yeah.
going to clean it? They're killing their maids every day.
Every maid that they get, they're like, and whenever you get a chance, the blood room has not been cleaned in quite a while, and then they're always dead before they get a chance to get to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ami manages to escape thanks to a guard's horniness.
Yes, a guard comes in with a syringe of painkiller for her. She ends up killing him with the least convincing leg lock I've ever seen. But when she leaves, we find him dead with the painkiller in his eye, which I thought was so cool.
It was a great effect.
That was a great way. That was a great kill. To kill a guy with a syringe of painkillers is awesome.
Here's where I mentioned that Show Mommy is also great.
Yes.
Her character name is Violet,
Okay.
and she is played by Hanukkah, another model adult actress. Mm-hmm. And here I noted sometimes casting porn actresses does work.
Sure.
Unlike in Danzig's Verotica.
Right. Yes.
And here I also noted porn is a bit different in Japan, which we already discussed.
Yes, it was. I am surprised by how good this movie came out. The last movie that I saw directed by a porn director was Friday 5, which is one of the worst movie in the series. And then you find out about what was happening behind the scenes, and it gets even worse. He was like, just when you think a porn director more stereotypically, that's who he was. Just
Gotcha.
the skeeziest, most gross motherfucker.
Gross.
Treated everyone like shit.
Well, we don't know how Iguchi is as a person.
I could find almost no information about the behind-the-scenes stuff about this movie.
There's not a lot. Oh, the last movie I watched directed by a porn director was Last House on a Dead-End Street, the first film by Roger Watkins, who went on to direct porn that is apparently so good that it's been compared to Lynch.
What?
Yeah, he has this film called Corruption, which is apparently really fucking good.
And
it's just porn.
And it is porn.
It's hardcore porn.
But it's been compared to David Lynch.
Yes.
By, like, people who know, or, like, just people on the street? Because people on the street, like, Joe Blow compares a lot to Lynch.
I think
without
by
ever
people
seeing
who
Lynch.
know. I think by people who know. I have procured it.
Yes.
I've not watched it yet.
Sure. Will Corruption be the first porno film we feature on the show? We'll see.
I don't know that I would make you watch hardcore pornography.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know that that's... Like, if I
Depends
watch
on
it...
how lynchy it is.
If I watch it and it's legitimately great...
Yeah.
Like, if I think you would enjoy it, we might watch it.
We watched The Beast. We'll see how things go.
We watched some of The Beast.
Some
that
of
was
The
a whole different situation.
That was a whole different situation.
But that was a fun day.
That was a fun day.
Ami makes her way to Sugihara Motors, where Miki is overworking herself to get over Takeshi's death.
Yes. Or to prevent herself from thinking about Takeshi's death.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And Takeshi Daddy patches Ami up.
And we get yet another underutilized and very more complicated than necessary backstory here, where she's like, oh, you're sewing her up pretty well. And it's like, you know, I'm the son of a doctor.
Yeah.
I used to patch you up all the time when we were part of that biker gang for all those years.
Yep.
And I just like dropped my phone and I'm like, again, God, I need the Machine Girl cinematic universe.
Absolutely.
To know about all of this other shit going on in their backstories.
At Yoshi's home, Yakuza thugs and the Kimuras barge in and question her about Ami's whereabouts.
Poor Yoshi.
Yoshi is gangsta as shit, though.
Yes.
For a bubbly, cute, laughy, giggly girl,
yes,
she does not snitch.
She does not snitch.
Which earns her a knife in the head.
Knife in the head.
Arguably the most sensible death in the entire film. The least violent death in the whole film.
Yeah, and it's still, like, in any other movie, that would be one of the gnarliest kills that we covered. Like, the kill we liked the most in Deerskin was the big machete through the roof.
Absolutely.
Through the woman's head.
Here's where the movie it reaches its pervy apex.
Yeah.
Kimura Daddy suggests the goons fuck the corpse.
Yes.
And here's where, in the subtitles, he says, when else are you going to get a chance to fuck a college girl?
In the dub, he has a similarly gross line, but it is a very different line.
Okay.
He says, how often do you get to pluck a rose before it's time?
Gotcha.
Or I think it's actually how often do you get a chance at a rose before it's plucked or something like that. But so it's similarly gross line, but still. And the funniest part about this scene for me, it is technically we don't know what age she is, but like a young girl rape scene by two men. But and it is a necrophilia rape scene. But at the same time, the really funny part is that he delivers this grossness. He says, "Hey, you have fun with her." Like, not as a suggestion, as a command.
Yeah.
And then the two men, with no look of joy or eagerness or perviness on their face,
start undressing.
They just nod. They're like, "Yes, sir." And they start undressing to go at it like this is part of their jobs.
Exactly.
And that aspect of it makes a scene that could have been like really uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
Just really, really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't make me uncomfortable because they don't show anything.
They don't show anything.
It's
that's the other part of it. Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't show anything. Mm-hmm. Again, this is not a pervy movie. It's just a fucked up bloody movie.
Right.
Which is weird because a lot of these, granted I haven't seen a lot, but the Tokyo Gore Police does not have any nudity. Mm-hmm. Yakuza Weapon has very weird specific nudity where a character uses the nude corpse of his sister as a shield / rocket launcher / machine gun.
Wow.
But these are not usually pervy movies.
Yeah.
Back at Sugihara Motors, Ami and Miki argue, which turns into a formal fight. They leave the room they're in and square up downstairs. A battle between those who lost loved ones.
Yes.
Which turns into an arm wrestling match on a barrel drum adorned with nails for some reason.
Yes, for whoever loses, you get your hand slammed into the nails. Now, this was a scene that on my first watch, I've since thought about it differently. But on my first watch, I really hated this scene.
Really?
It's not because the fight isn't good. The fight is actually pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And both actresses, we like both actresses, as we've said. They're good at what they do, and the fighting is good as well. The problem I had with it was when I was still thinking about this movie as a movie and not a grindhouse experience and absurdity. I really hate the cliche of women always fight women.
Okay.
Like women on, like, because there's, as at the end of this fight scene, or even maybe before this fight scene, I don't remember at what point, the husband I'm sorry, Takashi Daddy.
Takashi Daddy.
Takashi Daddy says,
I forget his name. Yeah. His last name's Sugihara.
Says to Takashi Mami, you have no reason to hate her. And it's true. She has absolutely no reason to hate her. There isn't even really a sort of realistic reason within the world of the movie why the character would
because
hate
of her
her.
family reputation. She assumes Yu was a bad person and Yu was associated with Takeshi and got him killed.
It's extremely contrived.
It is.
The reason for them to hate each other. And when
I mean, the whole reason she got her arm fucking cut off is hella contrived.
Right. So when I was thinking of this as a movie that was going to go somewhere and have a point, I was thinking of this as like a big misstep. Now that I am looking back on and realizing that I was taking the movie too seriously,
Gotcha.
and it's super contrived, goofy goof troop of a movie. Looking at that scene, I'm like, okay, they're playing on a cliche.
And we talked about this a lot. We talked about this in our first episode with Tracks.
Yes.
It's hard to know when the weirdness you're seeing, the bizarreness you're seeing, is unintentional shittiness or actual jokes and actual realized bits and
that is the thing that I had with this movie, where I was like, how in on the joke are they? And that's really what I had to think about after the movie. I'm still honestly not sure sometimes how in on the joke the movie is.
I feel...
For the most part, I think they are very in on the joke.
Absolutely. I never got the feeling that nobody was not in on what this was. Because it just gets so fucking weird. It gets weirder. Ami wins the arm wrestling match.
Yes.
Single-handedly. Ami has won Miki's respect, and Miki wants to rejoin her revenge quest.
Yes.
Like a classical RPG, she has joined the party.
Yes.
Miki trains Ami, and the Sugiharas forge a minigun that we see in the beginning.
And we get a whole training montage, during which, I just want to say, as a huge Bruce Lee fan, we get the Bruce Lee nose rub from Ami, which was always great to see.
I might as well point this out now.
Yes.
We now see that she has gotten the minigun.
Yes.
That opening sequence is never really explained where it fits into the timeline of this film.
No, it just is. It happens sometime.
It just happens at some point. Maybe it happens.
I think it happens between this next fight scene coming up and the what happens with the parents.
Gotcha.
Because the parents are reacting to that scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miki finds out that the Kimuras have moved.
Yes.
But back at Sugihara Motors, there's a ninja attack.
We knew that the Yakuza were also ninjas, and now we see.
And not only is this a ninja attack, this is a 3 ninja attack.
This is a 3 ninja attack.
This is the next installment of the 3 ninja film franchise.
Oh my god, this is where it was all building to. Also, they were wearing bright red jumpsuits.
Yeah, they're wearing fucking tracksuits.
They're wearing bright red track suits, and you don't get to see the ninjas' faces for a bit in the fight scene. So for the first couple of frames when they were there, I thought they were being attacked by the Squid Game employees. And then finally you see the faces as just like traditional ninja, like Party City Ninja outfits. But still.
Now, I'm very curious about what they referred to these guys in the dub as.
Sure.
Because in the subs, they refer to themselves as the Junior High Shuriken Gang.
Oh my god, I do not remember if they had a different name. I wish I'd written that down.
Aw, shit.
I just wrote down, oh my god, ninjas.
But, well, one, you
Yeah.
just say ninja. It's already plural. I
Right.
don't know that the Japanese language has plurals.
Oh, I did not know that ninja was plural.
Yeah, ninja, you just say ninja.
Okay.
But they are also backed up by Sho and some goons.
Yes, some non-ninja goons also show up.
Ami and Miki fight them off until Takeshi Daddy, who is named Suguru, can get the machine gun ready.
Oh,
Pretty good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Pretty good fight. I really enjoyed this
Yeah,
fight.
I really enjoy this fight. Absolutely.
It's super fun. Whenever the action gets weird and wacky, which this scene definitely is,
Yes.
because they're just throwing these super shuriken over and over.
And it also
They-
gives you the delayed gratification because we've seen her wearing the arm now, or we haven't seen her wearing the arm, but we've seen the arm being put together. We as an audience have seen the opening scene. We know what the machine gun is. We know what it can do.
Yes.
And we know that they are, while they're fighting well, they are outmatched in this fight. And
These are the Junior High Shuriken Gang.
Right.
They're like 12 years old.
exactly. And they keep cutting back to the dad, like, desperately trying to... He's like, oh, man, my hands are shaking
Yeah.
so much, I can't put it together right.
And here's...
It's the build-up. It's like, oh, man, are they going to get the gun in time? Are
Yes.
they going to get the gun in time? Are they going to get the gun in time?
And here's the thing that I love about Asian film that we
Yes.
do not see as much in the West. Mm-hmm.
They
Is
know how to
women
stage a
at-
fucking fight.
One.
Yeah.
And two, women get to be the badasses so much more.
Yes.
At least in what we've seen.
In what
Granted,
we've
we have
seen.
not seen an entire survey of Asian film.
Right.
But in the movies we tend to watch, women get to be the badasses more often than the men.
Yeah.
And here we see the man panicking, being ineffectual, like struggling to get the weapon that a woman will use
Right.
to defend him.
This is not to say that there's not a huge problem with sexism in Japan. It's
Absolutely
that's
not.
very highly publicized problem with sexism
But at least
in Japan.
in media and movies.
But yeah, in movies from Japan and from other Asian countries like
China, Taiwan,
China,
Hong Kong.
there's a much greater tradition of female action heroes than there is in the States, and it's frankly kind of shameful.
It is shameful.
Yeah, for us as Westerners to have that much of a dearth of lady action movies out there.
We'll just give a shout out quickly to Dragon Inn.
I was
a
gonna say
movie
it,
that we
yeah.
both really enjoyed from the 60s by King Hu. The best martial performer in that is a lady.
Absolutely, and she unfortunately even in that movie does not get enough to do.
No, but she's
during the
fucking
one scene
incredible.
that's hers, she kills it, and a lot of other people.
And also the not as good movie that came before that, Come Drink With Me, has a special warrior who's famed throughout the land who ends up being a lady.
And I want to say, still a good movie.
Still
Come
a
Drink
good
With Me.
movie.
Just not as good as
Just
Dragon
not
Inn.
as good as Dragon Inn, which is a
Yes.
fucking beautiful spectacle.
Yes, I love both of those movies. I just love Dragon Inn better.
Someday we'll have to watch the 3-hour Touch of Zen.
Yeah, someday we'll get up the energy. Take you watch that.
Oh, I want to point out the moment that I'm sure you loved where the three ninja combine their katanas into one giant throwing star.
Oh my god,
and
yes.
throw that at them.
Oh god, yes. Yeah, they literally they there's no like point of connection either. They just shove their swords together and throw them, and the swords stay together as
It's
a giant
so
throwing
fucking
star.
good.
It's so funny.
Suguru tosses Amy the gun just as he is sliced to bits by Shuriken.
Yes.
And there's a great, very cheesy pull-away effect where it's clear that there are strings attached to the different parts of this
Yes.
dummy that are pulled away, but I love it.
They even do the
I
Wile E.
love it.
Coyote bit of him not knowing that he's dead until
then
the
the-
audience sees that he's
The
dead.
cut slowly forming.
Yes, just like Bill Nye at the end of Underworld, you slowly see the cut on the middle of his head appear as he's pulled apart. That gore effect of him being pulled apart there is one of my. It's not my favorite gore effect.
No.
That's coming up, but like that.
Is it the very next effect?
Yes, but like him being pulled apart is one of the best things.
It's
Just
so-
before we get to that next gore. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to say it's so good.
Yes.
But again, it doesn't look real.
No.
At all, but it's so
It's
awesome. Like it's
intentionally like, it's cheap because also the movie is cheap, but
It is.
it is intentionally cheap.
But it still works so well. Like,
It's exactly the mood this movie needs to
that's
have.
an ethos that needs to be embraced more in modern Hollywood. Is
Yes.
like, okay, maybe digital is cheaper, but we can do cheap effects that still get a point across.
I have seen Resident Evil.
Residence Evil?
Residence Evil. No, I've seen Paul.
That's the British title of it.
Residence Evil. The residents in this townhouse are evil. I have seen Paul Anderson's first Resident Evil movie.
Okay.
So I have seen someone diced into cubes before. CGI dicing into cubes is not nearly as fun as
No.
when you see a practical dicing of a person.
Is that what you wanted to say before we get into the next
No,
effect?
the thing I wanted to see before we get into the next gore effect is when he tosses the gun, it's the full tokusatsu toss where if you have ever seen Power Rangers or any kind of tokusatsu show, they don't toss the item to the character. They toss it up and out
Into
of
the
frame.
air.
And then she does the full Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Jump through the air with her arm stump, and it automatically clicks into place with no prep work at all, lands, and then just turns a man's head into a flower.
It's so fucking good.
And it stays on screen for so long.
She blasts apart her first ninja,
Yes.
and it goes down to a dummy that's just a skull and eyeballs.
A skull and eyeballs covered in gore and viscera, with the parts of his head fully blossoming out into a flower of death, and he's just like on screen for what feels like forever, just bobbing up and down with the jaw going ang, 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 ang. Blood and CGI bullets flying through his head.
It's so fucking great
It's
and ridiculous.
so good.
And again, this is a junior high student.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is
Oh my god.
this is so fucking incredible.
I wrote down, holy shit, this movie.
I also love how shitty and cheap the minigun on her arm looks.
Oh yeah.
Like, clearly, obviously the actor couldn't hold a heavy metal thing, so
No.
they had to make it out of foam.
It's
You
like
can
made
see
out
the
of foam
bends in
or
it.
plaster,
You can see
yeah.
but I love it's
So good.
it works.
Yeah.
It works. Like, you don't need great looking shit to sell your fucking craziest shit movie.
There will occasionally be movies with, like, the chainsaw is such a cliche horror weapon.
Yeah.
But there will occasionally be movies where you have a character, like, reference how heavy a chainsaw actually is. And then there are movies like Army of Darkness where he just sort of, like, waves
He
it
just
around
has it on
like
his
a magic
fucking
wand.
wrist. Like,
This is Army of Darkness. This
Yeah.
is not a movie where someone like Arnold in Terminator 2 is like, oh man, this is such a heavy minigun. No, this is a tiny minigun that absolutely doing the same damage as a big minigun, but they are not paying any lip service to how heavy this fucking thing would be.
Ami literally blasts a hole through the second ninja,
Oh, it's
and then
great.
she sticks her minigun through that
that
hole
hole.
to kill the third one.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Here's where I noted this movie gets stronger the longer it goes.
It does.
It does. Like,
which is
it
so
just-
unusual for a movie. The movie is a one concept movie.
It is.
The entire concept is like the original, the one behind the scenes story I could find was the director saying his original idea was a girl in a bikini goes out for revenge. He thought of the machine gun arm later.
Yeah.
So the entire idea is young hot girl with a machine gun on her arm is looking for revenge. That's the director's entire log line when going into the film. The yes-anding that goes on in this
Yeah.
in the writing of this film is beautiful, and it consistently one-ups itself as the movie goes on.
And sometimes it feels like the yes and comes from the weirdest places.
Yes!
Like, what are they having
And-
for breakfast? Tempura. Then she can get her hand in the batter.
Then she goes, well, she's going to go, what's a logical thing for this girl who's trying to avoid violence would do? Well, she's going to go and talk to the parents, but the parents are cops, and the dad is going to attack her. What would a dad weapon be? Golf clubs.
Golf club. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
This is-
They took a very simplistic concept and then just built on it in an incredibly beautiful grindhouse way.
And this is, again, this is one of those movies that I'm going to chase this feeling where it's like,
Yes.
I need to find the next Machine Girl.
I want they never made a sequel to Machine Girl. they made a short film
Yes,
follow-up.
which I did not have a chance to try to hunt down.
No, neither did I. But it's on one of the DVD copies.
But it's
of
about
Machine Girl.
Yoshi getting a gun in her ass, I guess.
She gets a gun in her ass. She gets brought back to life by the same people who just got killed in this movie. And it's implied that the original Machine Girl is dead. That's not a spoiler for this movie. Apparently in between movies.
I guess they
something.
decided, like, there's not going to be a franchise, so she might as well.
We're just going to do a short film about Yoshi shooting people out of her ass. There needs to be a machine. I know Japan is not as into franchises as we are in the States, but I want a long, like a Scorpion Girl, a prisoner, female prisoner Scorpion length franchise of Machine Girl movies.
Yeah, it's sort of a shame that Japan doesn't do their grindhouse exploitation films like that anymore, like where it's just, we're going to make 5 movies in 1972.
Yes, all with the same actor within a very short frame of time.
Next, the movie keeps getting more brilliant in how it subverts and mines tropes.
Yes.
The parents of the junior high shuriken gang, plus Ryota's parents. Ryota's dad, because the mom is dead.
Yeah, so I think the school bullies probably got killed somewhere in here.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They're mourning the death of their children.
Yes.
And they are recruited
by the Ninja Yakuza.
Yeah. But just the idea that these anonymous baddies had parents, and they are just as in mourning as our heroes like Miki or Suguru or Ami, like...
Yes.
Yeah, they had children killed. Like, they're going to be upset as well. They want their revenge. Like...
And again, this was a moment where I was like, oh no, is the movie going to spend... We've been going into schlock action. Is the movie going to spend the back half of this movie talking about, no, violence is wrong and you should feel bad for enjoying the last scene? No, that's not where they take this.
It's like any time travel movie where when time travel causes a problem, the answer is always more time travel. In this movie, violence is always the answer to violence.
It's the Whitest Kids You Know sketch where they go back in time to stop 9/11 and it accidentally ends up with Hitler ruling the earth. So they're like, oh no, we got to go back in time and hijack that plane. And that's the end of the sketch.
Ami and Miki take a Yakuza hostage.
Mm-hmm.
He asks for food. She shoves a rice ball into his face.
Yes.
This is the second time a rice ball has been shoved into somebody's face in this movie.
Yes.
It happens to Miki earlier, or does Miki do it to Ami?
One of them does it to the other one.
Yes.
There's a rice back and forth. I think Miki does it to Ami.
I think you're right.
Yes.
But both times it happens, the response by the person who's getting the rice ball shoved in their mouth is bizarrely erotic.
Yes.
They're like these soft moans.
Yeah.
And it's such a
And they always have like a
thing.
weird little smile on their face after they've had the rice ball in their mouth too.
But Kimura Daddy recruits Ryota's dad and the mourning parents to form a new squad, 4 altogether.
Yes.
And
he's not only training them, he's leading them in a prayer to call up the dead souls of their children.
This is the most frantic and crazy praying I have ever seen on screen. Oh, yeah. But
it's like the black ritual to resuscitate Dracula in Dracula AD 1972. They're not just they start out by just being peaceful praying, and then they're swaying, they're freaking out. One of them is like he's like miming having caught a fly that's too powerful for him in his hands. His hands are in the prayer position, but going all over the place, freaking out.
Yes.
It's around here where I wrote down the note. This high school / college girl and this mom of one of her brother's friends look the same age. Yeah.
I'm sure they are close to the same
Probably
age.
the same age.
But Miki is hurting from a wound she got during the fight with the Shuriken gang.
Yeah, she got a wound across her stomach.
She doesn't want to go to the hospital. She needs to keep fighting.
Yes.
There's a brief moment where it really seems like Ami and Miki are going to fuck.
Yes, there's that brief moment where it definitely seems like that.
But they definitely have a bond formed by grief.
Yes.
And together they torture the hostage by driving nails into his face.
Yes. And I was very confused when they started this, because the place where they start is right on the forehead. And I was like, are they lobotomizing him to make him more pliable? What's going on? No, they're just nailing nails into his face.
This is probably the gnarliest effect in the movie. We eventually see his face filled with nails.
Yes.
Like because it's so, for this movie, restrained.
Yes.
And more realistic, like it's just fucked up.
It didn't quite, just like the idea of nails in the head was upsetting to me, but like the actual effect didn't bother me too much.
Okay.
Especially, it bothered me at first, because again, the first nail in the head, I'm thinking about lobotomies and all this stuff. The more nails that are in his face, the sillier it got, and the less bothered by it I was.
True. But this is a fucked up way to torture somebody.
There was a line I didn't want to jump over too quickly. The mom, at least in the dub, says to Ami, "You need to let me go with you so I can die in peace." Which was very confusing to me because they're literally going into a war zone. But whatever.
They're going into a Punisher war zone, your favorite movie.
My favorite movie, Punisher Warzone. But yes, this is a really fucked up way to torture somebody.
It is. It's super fucked up. Like, kudos to this movie for coming up with a fucked up new way of torture.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I would hate to have this done to me.
Oh, yeah, no, this was very... And again, as someone who was still watching this under the presumption that the movie had a
There's
point...
going to be a deeper meaning.
And there was going to be a point or a deeper meaning. I was like, this is very upsetting. And this is where I wrote down, I think I should have watched this with Brad. Because I think that I'm having a bad week this week, just like behind the scenes. So like me watching this alone in my bedroom... just kind of like, and with the knowledge that I was going to have to go into work afterwards, was probably not the best environment.
Probably not.
It probably would have been a lot more fun if you and I could have gone like, oh,
exactly.
Together.
I was going to bring that up earlier. When we watch movies together, we're fucking cheering, we're fucking laughing, we
tend to watch much dumber movies together than we do for the show.
Yeah.
Just in general.
We watch... stuff that just entertains us.
Yeah.
Which is our right to. Right. And we get really into it. I believe we both agree that our chef's kiss for a good action movie is if we laugh.
Yes.
If we laugh during something that happens. Like either it's so awesome or it's so silly. Mm-hmm. And I know that if we watch this together, we'd be laughing all over the place. We'd be like, we'd be losing it.
Yeah. We'd be on the floor with this film.
I agree. Yeah. But at the same time...
So I think this is definitely a party movie, just in general. Like,
absolutely. Watch it with friends.
Watch it with friends who enjoy schlock and just enjoy, like, oh my god, he's in cubes, like, it'd be great.
You're watching with John Travolta.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's in cubes!
I'm the boy in the bubble, now I'm the boy in cubes.
An American remake of this where John Travolta is
the machine girl?
No, is the Yakuza daddy.
Okay, I was going in a very different direction.
This is the purest blood, my son. You have to drink this pure blood. No Temlins in this blood.
Hey, you. Where'd you get those bruises at? You know mom and dad died because they don't like violence.
As I've established, Kristen Bell is playing Machine Girl.
Okay. Eventually, Miki and Ami find out where the Chimeras are. Mm-hmm. They go, and Miki gives Ami some backup weapons and a single bullet that takes up an entire drum.
Jesus
that is super
Christ.
powerful, so powerful that it'll destroy her gun arm.
Which seems like maybe if you're making a bullet that's going to destroy the gun it's in,
dial it back a little bit.
Yeah,
just dial it back a little bit.
Dial it back slightly.
Ami and Miki roll up with their nail-riddled hostage.
Yes,
and Sho greets them, and their hostage is accidentally killed by some bushwhacking Yakuza.
Oh wait, Sho greets them tied to 3 other students in a human shield that he's like tied to himself, and I because the actor who plays this kid, Sho, does a great job of like channeling like traditional Yakuza bad guys in other Japanese films. He's got like the head tilted back, the cocky attitude, but he's a kid, which makes it a million times more irritating.
Yes.
This whole cocky attitude and also like all the evil shit he keeps doing. I was so ready for this kid to get fucking murked when he showed up in this scene. I was like, oh my god, fuck you. I was just so done with this kid. And then
was what's coming up your favorite part of the movie? Because I feel like this is your favorite part of the movie.
there are too many scenes in this movie that as we've talked about them, I've either said out loud or thought in my head, that was my favorite part. So it's hard to tell at this point. Because but it's very close.
The grieving parents roll out.
Yes.
And they have formed a full-on Sentai squad.
And I was so in my own head about this movie that I didn't notice that it was a Sentai parody until you told me yesterday.
Really?
Yes. You messaged me. Wasn't it crazy when they became a Sentai squad? And I was like, you motherfucker, Billy. You didn't notice a Sentai squad in front of you.
Oh my God.
I don't think this has been talked about on the show. I am an insanely big Power Rangers fan and like Tokusatsu Sentai kind of fanboy. And they all roll up literally wearing like motorcycle helmets.
Yeah, they're all in helmets.
They have guns, like handguns strapped to their arms.
My favorite detail.
My dumbass didn't pick up on it.
But that's so disappointing.
They do the whole. I loved the scene by itself, but they do the whole bit where they like take certain formations.
They like get on each other's like. They put their legs on each other's thighs, and
they do the whole that Sentai parody team from Dragon Ball Z bit. I don't remember what they're called, but like they do the whole bit where they're making fun of the superposing and stuff like that. And somehow my dumbass didn't pick up on it until later.
We'll blame it on the bad week. You had a lot else on your mind.
I had a lot else on my mind.
And that's such a shame to me, though, that you didn't on your watch. You didn't we're like, oh my God, it's Sentai.
I will absolutely be doing that on my second watch, but like. Yeah, I did not pick up on it.
But my favorite detail of their Sentai Squad uniforms is that they had pictures of their dead children on the front of their uniforms, except for one who is bare-chested and has it tattooed.
That's the dad that she's met before, the golf dad.
Yeah.
Dan Green coming in
and
with a tattooed chest.
They are the Super Mourner Gang in the subtitles.
Oh my God.
They have guns on their wrists.
And even funnier, I even wrote down, as they were fighting, this has become Grindhouse Power Rangers all of a sudden, and I'm here for it. And still didn't pick up.
Didn't make the connection.
Didn't make the connection. I'm ashamed of myself. Just before they show up, though, their hostage is shot in the back of the head, which results in all of the nail, because they've taken the nails out of his head, all the nail holes start sprouting spurts of blood like a sinking ship in a cartoon, and his head just blows up and he dies, which was just an incredible effect, like a actually impressive effect that they pulled off, and I just wanted to mention it.
They have guns on their wrists.
Yes.
They pursue Ami and Miki. Miki has a decent fight against the gang.
And just like a Sentai or Power Rangers fight, they start the fight in one location, run off camera, end up in a completely different location, a forest instead of a quarry like it usually is in Power Rangers, and start the fight there. And it's a great fight. It's an absolutely Power Rangers level fight.
It is.
Yeah.
Ami fires,
except with more blood and guns.
Ami fires at one, but they have bulletproof vests.
Yes.
Ami and Mike end up back-to-back surrounded by the gang. Mm-hmm. Mike grabs a chainsaw from Ami's pack.
Yes.
And goes to battle, chops off an arm.
A chainsaw that is built to be on an arm, it has like a little gauntlet just like the gun is. So it's a chainsaw arm, even though she's just using it as a chainsaw.
She chops off an arm, then saws a guy in half.
Oh my God.
That's one down.
That's amazing.
Ami is out of bullets. She changes to the super ammo.
Yes.
As Kimura Daddy sends a flying guillotine to decapitate another member of the gang.
Yes. Which I am almost sure is something I have seen in another kung fu film.
The flying guillotine, it doesn't always look like this, but that was like a subgenre of wuxia kung fu films.
But I believe usually it was played entirely seriously, and this is just like, hey, how much more fucking absurd can we get? And it's an absurd weapon. It's amazing.
It's fucking great.
It's so great.
Miki and the lead member of the gang face off. Miki puts a sword through her. 3 down. The flying guillotine, which is more like a chain chomp.
Yes.
Gets kicked away from Ami by Miki. I love Miki so much.
Miki's so good.
Her foot is caught in the guillotine and is eventually lost, and Miki bleeds out. And here's where I noticed finally that the movie isn't pervy at all. I don't know why at this particular point.
And that's another difference between... I've only seen a couple of clips of Planet Terror, so I really shouldn't be bringing it up this much. In the few clips that I have seen of it, Rose Byrne, I believe, is the actress in that.
Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan, that's it. is objectified way more than any of the women in this movie get objectified.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
There's a lot more, like, whenever she's using her leg machine gun, there's a lot more, like, ooh, this is what I can do with my leg kind of stuff.
Yeah, because she's an exotic dancer and...
Right, yeah. And she's an exotic dancer instead of a student or a mom or a mechanic.
The guillotine snaps on the end of Ami's gun. Kimura Daddy yanks it. He pulls all the barrels loose, only to be impaled by them.
Yes.
This is the most...
So we didn't even get to use the massive bullet.
Ridiculous, anticlimactic death. Like, this is...
Yeah.
It's still a good effect.
Yes.
But it's such a strange way for your big... Or at least your dragon, if not your big bad, to die.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Miki is still crawling along, only to
Yes.
be attacked by the last member of the gang.
Mm-hmm.
She jams her foot stump into the chainsaw.
Dan Green again, I believe. The
I
shirtless
believe
man.
so.
Yeah.
She jams her foot into the chainsaw and guts him in half.
Oh my god.
And then she dies.
And it's funny because right before she pulled out the chainsaw arm prop, I had written down, I want Machine Girl team up with Ash Williams. And then suddenly the chainsaw arm came in and it became a chainsaw leg, and it was like, I'm good, thank you. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Ami Hyuga, still a more competent protagonist than Ash Williams.
Oh, a million %.
Which is what I love about Ash.
Yeah, Ash is a
that
dumbass.
He's incompetent.
And Ami is a superhero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ami storms the compound with the chainsaw on her arm.
Yes.
She has Sho has barricaded himself inside the multiple human shield that you mentioned.
Yes.
Again, flashbacks to Trax and the Little League team.
Oh my god, yes.
Little League team strapped to the car.
Trax and Machine Girl exist in the same universe. That's my head
canon.
Absolute canon.
Ami turns to face Violet Kimura. They fight. Yes. Violet stabs her in the shoulder before Ami swings her chainsaw.
Yes.
But it's deflected off of Violet's steel bra.
Oh no.
Which is also a drill.
Yes, she opens her top and her bra.
She has like a Madonna cone.
She has a Madonna cone that starts to rotate as an actual fucking drill, which is probably, I mean, I think the best way that they could have gone with this climax. Like,
sure.
That's just,
where the fuck else do you go?
I don't know. I don't know where else you go, and this is amazing. And I think this might be the reason why that they haven't made a sequel. They ran out of ideas.
Maybe.
Once you hit drill bra, like, where can you go from there?
Violet hugs Ami.
Well, in the dub, she says, "You must be curious how it feels." And then Leah hugs Ami and brings her into the
both
drill.
Both are just being sprayed by blood.
Sprayed so much blood. It's become, speaking of Evil Dead, it's become the Evil Dead remake, the climax of the Evil Dead remake with the blood just raining everywhere.
Ami collapses, and Violet says she'll drill Ami's face.
Yes,
Meanwhile,
I am surprised that Ami is not already dead. She doesn't even have a wound on her chest.
I mean, she should have been dead several times over.
Yes.
By this point. Meanwhile, the human shield are just collectively pissing themselves.
They're so scared. They're all pissing. They're pissing so much. So much piss. Too much piss, in fact. As I noted.
Piss, as you
noted.
Too much
piss with so many exclamation points.
And Ami, because she's a superhero, just like Batman, she knows what to do with this piss.
She knows what to do with the piss.
She flips Violet onto the piss, which shorts out her electric bra, killing her. Is there any more ignoble death than being electrocuted by your own bra?
Didn't quite kill her, just electrocuted her.
Okay.
She gets up in a sort of Mortal Kombat, like, finish him kind of moment.
True, and then we get
Ami puts her what was this Sho beside her.
Yeah, Sho rushes to her aid.
Yeah.
And Ami slices off both their heads, but not at the neck.
No.
At just above the jaw.
Yes.
And their heads land on each other's bodies.
They literally just trade heads. They go whoop. It's a face swap with no Photoshop needed, bouncing between.
This movie has been very Evil Dead throughout.
Yes.
Here's where it becomes Houseu or House, where this is a fucking kill that would be in House.
Yes,
the famous Japanese movie that is a mashup, not famous, cult Japanese movie from the 70s from Toho that is a fever dream that is like Evil Dead meets Scooby-Doo meets mescaline.
You've heard other movies described as fever dreams. None of them are as fever dreamy as Hausu is. And I will say, I was thinking about Hausu earlier in the movie with, like, talking about how soap opera-y all of the so-called dramatic moments are. And that is another element of Hausu where every, like, interpersonal scene that doesn't involve horror is just so overwrought and whimsical.
Ami sends the human shields away to tell the police what happened. Someone has to tell the story.
Yes. Oh, wait. In the dub, when she slices them through the head and they trade heads there for a second, she says, no matter which way you slice it, you both will be rotting in hell.
That's pretty great. I need to watch this dub. Because it sounds like they put a lot of their own energy into it. They
put effort into it.
Yeah, and this sounds actually pretty good.
From what little I've heard of the Squid Game dub, more effort than the Squid Game dub.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But she tells the kids to run off and tell the police
what happens. In a great inversion of the usual revenge trope, maybe it's cultural, but the revenge not only fulfills Ami, but the ghost of her brother is like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But also, not only is the ghost of her brother hell yeah, the students are hell yeah. They turn to her and they're like, you're a fucking hero now. Like, I hope I'm just as strong as... She's like, hey, if you were ever bullied, and you expect her to be like tell somebody or like, don't go down the dark path. She's like, stand up for yourself and fight back. And they're like, I only hope I'm as strong as you are if I ever get bullied. And they run off. She is... You were talking about, like, her being... Like, when I said Grindhouse Power Rangers to you yesterday, we talked a little bit over Facebook Messenger before recording the episode. You came back with, she's Grindhouse Sailor Moon. And that is the vibe that she get. Like, she has, like a Christopher Reeve Superman smile on her face. Like, this all went very well. And they run off, like earlier in the opening, we had that sort of dark moment of the kid she saved being like, no, you're a monster. But at the end, nope, that's gone.
Yeah, that's like, gone. Everyone's happy.
You're fucking Superman to me.
Ami is about to commit suicide. She has her...
In a very inefficient way. You would think that she would go straight for the seppuku, but she's literally holding the blade up to her throat about to, like, try and chop her own head off.
Seppuku is not an easy way to die.
No, but it's
very
like
painful.
As a person holding the sword, it is much easier to get into there than it is to, like...
I mean, it's easier, but again, it's much more painful. She's just going to slit her throat. She's not going to fully decapitate herself.
Oh.
She's just going to bleed out.
Maybe it's the world of the movie, but I thought she was going to decapitate herself.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. But she's stopped. There's a rustle in the bushes.
Yes.
She turns her katana on the noise. Cue credits.
It turns out Shao Kahn, he's come out and he says, you're weak, pathetic fools. I've come for your souls.
Anything else you want to say about Machine Girl?
I want more of Machine Girl.
I do, too. I wish...
I think the movie that they have made is a compact, awesome package that I will watch probably more times after this. And it's very fun.
But you just want more of it.
I just want
more
as a
of this
superhero
style.
As a superhero fanboy, I like it when there are more adventures. I want
absolutely.
Machine Girl to meet evil Machine Girl. I want her to meet Machine Boy, like have like a whole fight robot dinosaurs in the middle of Tokyo, like have a whole bunch of crazy weird fucking adventures.
I am still looking for something that matches Machine Girl.
Yeah.
Like you would probably enjoy Yakuza Weapon, you'd probably like Tokyo Gore Police, but I'm still looking for something that hits the same.
Yeah, neither of those were at the same level to you as this was.
No, and I watched Tokyo Gore Police before I watched Machine Girl, I think.
Okay.
But, so next, we're going to be getting into our holiday season.
Yes.
Our next episode is going to be about El Dia de la Bestia.
Ooh,
The Day of the Beast. A new favorite holiday movie of ours.
Yes. One that we discovered not watching it thinking it was not a Christmas movie.
Yes.
During the off-season time.
It's by the same director as a movie we really enjoyed called Perdita Durango. And I was seeking out more.
Yes.
And this came up, and it just happened to be one of the most fucked up Christmas movies I've seen.
It's great.
So we'll be talking about that next time.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Give her a stop, export the file,